Welcome to episode 289 featuring DJ Fresh.
Yeah.
And today we are sponsored by Manscaped.
Manscaped? What do they do?
They're the best men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped just launched in South Africa with their fourth generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Yes, you heard that right. The 4.0.
Is it in here?
Yeah, it's this one. This baby right here.
Oh.
Check it out, man. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% for all the chillers out there. All you got to do is use the code MacG at manscaped.com. I actually used it the other day because I was growing a bush down there.
For real?
Yeah, man.
I should use it too. I call my crotch the White House because it's got a push. I need it as well.
Yeah, I know you need it, dog. It's got an upgraded trimmer, which includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel clock. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. That's this light here.
Yeah, I see the white one, right?
Yeah. 4000K,
so cool.
Papa.
Oy.
We're messing around. Did I mention it's got wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. It doesn't help your mandingo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't help with the length, but it helps with the one.
Yeah, but if I use it, then I'll stop doing the wire because you said it's wireless, right? The charging it. Right?
But anyway, so gents, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong. No person wants to end up with pubes in their mouth. That's the worst when that happens. Has that ever happened to you?
When I'm giving head, yeah.
Hey, cheers. It's time to get your own ball hair and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Like I said, get 20% off with the code MacG at manscaped.com. If you're a chiller, you'd be nuts not to take advantage of this offer. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Thank you, balls.
Hinda, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. This is indeed, I know I always say this, so I always say it's a special podcast, it's a special edition, but this one, it's been 4 years in the making. Trying to get this nigga right here, dog. Please welcome one of the greatest broadcasters of our generation of all time, DJ Fresh. Yeah. I'm so glad you got cancelled.
So my dog.
So you can come on the show.
No. I'm not here because of cancelling. I'm here because, let me tell you, I don't do interviews for the sake of interviews. So if I have nothing to talk about, I'm not going to do an interview. I've been doing interviews about my career since 1992. Wow. How old were you in 1992?
Jeez.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I pick and select the interview and what I'm going to talk about. So if I didn't have music coming out on the 1st of October, I wouldn't fucking be here.
Thank God for the music.
Now that I've spoken about it, I can leave. Guys, 1st of October, brand new album, I'm out of here.
And you know what's crazy about this interview? We're going to catch a lot of smoke, obviously, from feminists. You know how it is right now with everything that's going on. Yeah. But like, dude, we're not here to play God, dog. We don't judge anybody. No. We just do what we want to do. We're documenting Black history, and you're a big part of it. You know what I mean? What you do in your personal stuff, that's up to you.
But I think also the sad thing with the feminist movement is how it's almost become toxic now. Yeah. Where we are a hammer and everything is a nail. It's almost like indiscriminate. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Never about, is there nuance here? Is there even a substantiated thing happening? You know what I mean? So I think that's sad because it's now polarizing people. And I believe the feminist movement should be uniting people. Yeah. Where men and women are feminists and want only the best for men and women. But anyway, that's just me. Like, what do I know? I'm just a DJ. So.
You've been broadcasting for 30 years. How does it feel now waking up and you don't have a radio show?
To tell you the honest truth, when I moved from 5 to Metro, I was literally contemplating a 1-year sabbatical because I felt that I need a break. I want to work on my music. I want to tour a bit. I want to travel a bit. And then Glenn decided to leave, and then they called me, and they're like, we're redeploying your chief. And that's what happened. So I've actually wanted a break.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad I'm on a break.
Wow. And what does a normal day look like for you now? What do you do?
I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff in commodities, but I can't say too much because, yeah, it's, people think you have money now.
No, but you got money, bro. Fresh is a baller.
Nah, Fresh got long money.
But why do you guys think I have a lot of money?
I'll tell you why I think you have a lot of money.
You guys are the same guys that will see an actor on a taxi going for that next audition, and you're like, how about you're on a series? Why in a taxi? Guys, generally our industry pays rubbish.
Not you, Fresh. Not
Come
you,
on,
dog.
dog.
Let me tell you a story, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know I got a scooter. I needed a helmet.
Yeah.
So I go to this shop and I'm buying a helmet. And the guy helping me there told me a crazy story about Fresh. He said Fresh walked in there and he bought a Harley Davidson, which is like 350K. Cash.
When was this? When did I buy this bike?
I don't know. How many Harley Davidsons do you have?
2.
You see, the first one.
No, man. I bought my first bike in 2009, and it wasn't cash.
Well, the second one was that cash.
No, actually, the second one, my man. Let's keep it moving, bro.
He can hardly remember.
I hardly remember, nigga. I hardly remember.
This nigga bought it cash, all the accessories, walked out with that bike. I'm like, no ways. That's insane. But anyway, take me back to RB2, your first radio show there. How was that like?
So RB2 was the first commercial radio station in Bots, but it was part of the public broadcaster. And so I did a high school, obviously, then I did national service for a year. So as I was finishing my national service, there was a new radio station. And I was a fan for about 2 months. Then I was like, no, fuck this shit, man. I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into studio and saying to them, guys, I'd like a job.
Yeah.
I don't have a demo, but I'd like a job. Because whatever I'm hearing, I'm certain 90% demo and then So then they said, go make a demo and come back.
Yeah.
And I was unable to make a demo. And then there was an event where one of the DJs, DJ Sid, was at this event. And I told him, yo, dude, I want to join you guys, but I haven't made a demo. So he's like, no, man, come in on Monday and we'll see what we can do. They set up a studio for me the Monday.
Wow.
And they just showed me what's what. They hit record on the reel-to-reel to record my audition. Yeah, I auditioned for about 30 minutes.
Wow.
And the next day they called me and said, you start on Saturday.
Damn.
That's literally how my radio career started.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
true you were bullied as a kid.
I was bullied as a kid a lot because I was shortish, I was plumpish, and I had a big head. Not much has changed, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, I mean, you're called names because you're fat, because you got a big head, or Saul, you can relate.
Huge head. All the ladies
What were they doing
complain.
to you, these bullies? What were they
No,
doing?
it was more name calling.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like physical bullying.
Yeah.
It was more name calling. And name calling is also horrible.
Yeah.
You're a child. Like, why should you have to deal with but also because I've always hung out with older kids. So because I'm a lady anyway, like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
No, so you just kind of bob and weave, but it also taught me to retort and to guara back. And in fact, I'll tell you now, my sharp mind right now is probably thanks to that.
Oh, yes.
Because I was
you're always
taught
ready,
to think on my feet
spot.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And in hindsight, do you think you've recovered from that?
You know what? I think I'll be lying if I say it was a trauma. But it wasn't nice. But like I said, I also feel it prepared me for the big bad world. I mean, when I was 12, 13, I was shipped off to boarding school. Boarding school is not necessarily nice either. You know what I mean? So, but because you've dealt with all of those trials and tribulations of a kid, you kind of cruise through boarding school. So yeah, man.
And why did you guys come to SA? Was that your decision or the family?
What family? Dude, I flunked law school. And I packed my bags and I came here to study. Yeah, it was just me, dude.
So you were like, fuck it, I'm going to Joburg, man.
Well, it wasn't as simple as fuck it. It was first saying to my dad, who was pissed off that I'd flunked out of law school, that ish timer. So there's this Boston college and I need money now. I mean, this after we've had a massive fallout.
Yeah, you and your dad?
Yeah, because I dropped out of law school.
Yeah.
You know, in his mind, I was going to be a lawyer. But I suspect I was going to be a lawyer because he couldn't be a lawyer. Now he wanted to lawyer vicariously through me.
Yeah.
That's what I suspect. Yeah. In fact, speaking of my dad, the weird thing, I found out just last week, when he was in primary school, he was the conductor for the school choir.
Wow.
But he's like, he never told me because he didn't want me to go into the arts. He confessed this last week.
Wow.
I was like, nigga, you're 78. Why are you telling me this now?
So what's your first week like in Joburg? Like, who are you staying with? What's happening?
So I had friends and cousins who lived in Berea at the time. Yeah. So what I did was there was a hotel, Safari Hotel. So I literally packed my bags and my dad dropped me off here the first week of January 95.
Wow.
But by then I've already made friends and connections because I met Oskido 92, I met Christos 93, I met Vinny 94, I met Bob Mabena 93. So I was already connected in terms of the scene.
What was happening first time you met Oskido?
Oskido, I was doing first year law.
Yeah.
And Oskido was booked to play at a picnic. So I was attending this picnic.
Yeah.
But myself and Oskido were booked to play in another town, Francistown, the following week.
Yeah.
So 16 December 1992. I woke up to Oskido while he's playing. I introduced myself. And it's like, my man, we're playing together next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to Wee Wee. Play the next track for me. I'd only started learning how to mix on vinyl 6 weeks prior.
Wow.
And
vinyl's not easy, bro.
And Oskido's like, man, I'm going to Wee Wee, play the next song.
Don't take the piss.
And, I'm not going to lie, I peed just a little. You know the clips?
Yeah.
Where you forgot the extra shake. But I was like, I'm not going to fuck up this opportunity.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why I always say to kids, if the opportunity drops in your lap, you better be ready.
Yeah.
Even when you're not ready.
Yeah.
Be ready to jump in, and if you die, you die. But if you don't die, you've gained something.
Yeah.
So Oskido's taking a wee, I'm playing the next record, and there's a fucking massive crowd.
Yeah.
And it was shaking Yana, but it was fine. It worked.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this record. I'm like, this record is halfway done. Oskido's not back. I was like, fuck, let me find another record. So I played a second record. That mix was even better.
Yeah.
And that's how our friendship started with Oskido.
And you didn't play Durban July, no horses.
There were no horses, thank goodness. But yeah, so we've been friends since 16 December 92 with Oskido.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
man.
When does YFM calling? Because like I was telling you off air,
Yeah.
I wish I was around during your time. The guys' era.
You know what the problem
Hey,
is?
dog.
You guys think, our era at Y was just sex, drugs, and quiet.
It was.
That's the problem.
It sounded like that on air.
We maybe did the sex, alcohol, and quiet. You added the drugs in your era. But anyway, so I did 3 years of media studies at Boston. I'm in my third year. I'm sending demos every week, everywhere.
Where are you sending to? Metro?
Everywhere. I even sent to, I sent it to Metro, Josie FM, Soweto, Radio Soweto.
And they were saying no.
Nobody responded.
Wow.
My man, I even sent to Venda. I sent, nigga, I just want to get on radio. I was ready to learn to nda when I'm ready, DJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody was responding.
Wow.
And then I just finished my campus radio show. And one of my boys from my class gave me a Sowetan and said, listen, there's a new radio station, there's auditions. I think check it out.
Yeah.
So I go downstairs to the Tiki box. It's a phone booth. Google it, kids. And I put in my R5 and I call the number. Then Sis Pumi answers the phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen, tomorrow is our last audition. So please bring in a demo, she wanted a demo, I think, copy of ID.
Oh, that's
and your CV. So I ran to the computer room, lab, did my CV quick. I even had flyers from gigs I've done, included those flyers there so they can see I'm a rocking guy. You know? And then I told my lecturers that tomorrow I'm not in. Went for the audition. Kenny Maestri was there, Oskido was there, AK was there, Greg Maluka was there. No, Fedjo was not part of our auditions. But there was a gang of us though. And we auditioned, and then I went back to my boring student life. About a month later, I'm told at reception that these guys are trying to get a hold of you, the guys at Y. I was like, fuck. So I called them. They're like, listen, dude, you're in the top 50.
Wow.
We need you to come. We need you to come, because I think the audition was 600 people.
Shortlist. Yeah.
So we need you to come back for an audition. And I get there. Greg, who'd been in the queue with us, is auditioning us. So Greg, when we were in the queue, says he realized that there's so much talent here, he doesn't stand a chance. So he did a business plan for them while he was in the queue.
Typical Greg,
And then he handed them his business plan.
Wow.
So they're like, okay, we like this guy, we can work with this guy. And so Greg auditioned me, and then we were whittled. Then after that, I went straight to Hillbrow, Pretoria Streets. There was a clicks there. And I bought a pager so that they can at least reach me now.
Google a pager.
So I bought a pager and I waited, and then we were told that, listen, you got the job, there's 30 of you, you're going to be put through training, and then we whittled down to 15, and then I was told you're doing drive, and...
You got drive?
I've never not done a drive show.
Wow. I've never done a drive show.
My man, if you're not busy getting fired...
I've got a clip, man, in my archives of the first show you did with Fat Joe.
Oh shit, yeah?
Oh man, it's hilarious. You sounded like a groupie on that show, because he was the anchor, you could tell. And then you'd come in with the gossip and whatnot.
No, because I was a guest on his show. It was his show. So I couldn't, come onto his show and fucking take over the show. But having said that though, I was a Fat Joe fan when he was still at Radio Bop. So before he moved here, I was listening to him on Bop. And I was a fan already. So you saw.
What stuff was he doing at Bop? I never heard him at Bop.
He had a hip hop show, late night, and half the music he played was not censored. So
tell us some about the crazy stories at YFM, because I heard a crazy story that you used to take taxis obviously to the studio, and then you guys started becoming famous and you're like, hey chief, we can't take taxis anymore.
No, so obviously I'm a student, so I take a taxi from Empire Road to Joburg Park by North there. Then from there you take another taxi that goes to Eastgate, but literally drops you by Y. So I did that for about a month. And then one day as I'm leaving, there's a taxi outside. Some taxi guy is like, he's been listening to the show and he loves what I do. So he's like, do I need a ride home? So this cat would leave his route every day, pick me up from my apartment, take me to Y, get back on his route. When I knock off at 6, picks me up, takes me home.
Wow.
And then Fat Joe's mom bought him was it a Hyundai? Remember Hyundai used to make just microwaves. then they moved to cars. Was it Hyundai? No, Daewoo. Yeah, so Daewoo used to make microwaves and appliances. Then they decided they want to make cars. So I think Fat Joe's mom or Fat Joe bought a Daewoo. So whenever we're gigging, me and Fat Joe, so we had 50 records we shared between us. So we'd be fucking cruising in this fucking white Daewoo thinking we're fucking balling. But Glenn like, we're in a microwave, my guy. So yeah, man.
But how was it at YFM? Were people sleeping in the studio? I heard Bad Boy T when
he arrived from Cape Town.
Because things were happening so fast and we had to go on air, and advertisers were also a bit skeptical. Because there's a new radio station targeting black youth. Black youth don't have money. That was the perception.
It's 1994.
So, for instance,
97.
to give the industry peace of mind, then Randall had to be poached from Good Hope FM to come be station manager. And then Sammy T was poached from 5FM to come and do breakfast. So at least
familiarity
for the industry so that they can maybe take us seriously. But for instance, then Randall was like, but I want Thomas from Cape Town. So Thomas had to arrive. Thomas arrived the night before we went on air for the first time. So he literally lived in studio. And then I think AK MacG was from Pretoria. And all of a sudden he's doing a radio show. So I think he was also sleeping in the studio.
Yeah.
So it was mad. I think for the first month, we were literally making do. In fact, we're literally like a big family. Literally, we'd be there the whole day, all of us.
Wow.
Like all of us would be in studio just chilling or chilling outside in the courtyard. So yeah, man. It was.
Is it true you guys got head like while doing a show? Stuff like that?
No.
Nah. Hey, do you believe that song?
Although on my birthday, someone was dared to come do that to me during my show. Because I switched on the mic, and then this person came around. I'm like, where are you going? And they'd been dared to come in.
Yeah.
But I was like,
it never happened.
Be back after these ads. Like, it's not gonna happen here. You know what? I think we had great times, but my sadness about my time at Y is I don't think we fully grasped our impact.
Yeah.
I don't think we fully appreciated our impact.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't think we fully exploited it to become even bigger.
Yeah.
Or to do even more as a platform. So people think Y was big. I think we could have been bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we could have had like bigger influence. But because we were in the moment, I'll tell you right now, my 9 years at Y, half of them are probably a blur because so much was happening all the time.
It's on to the next one.
Like so much was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on Y for a month, then Studio Mix call and say, please come be a guest, a guest presenter. Got into that auditioning us. So I think it was me, Zach Dakile, Fat Joe, I can't remember who else. So we each did a link with Melanie and Bob. And then Saturday morning, I'm walking from my flat into Hillbrow to go to gym. That's when I realized that fuck TV, your privacy is out the window when you're on TV.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people are stopping me on the streets like, yeah, also you're because remember, Y is a new station.
Yeah.
But they don't know us.
Yeah, you don't know what you look
You're
like.
faceless.
Now they've seen me on TV and they're like, oh, is it? Then I was like, fuck, TV will fuck your privacy like this.
Yes.
Yeah. So even at gym, now MacG all of a sudden didn't want to come and chat. I was like, no, Jens, please.
Wait. By the weights.
And then they call me again for the following week.
Yeah.
So Bratami was the show producer. And he's like, no, man, come back. And then the following week, he's like, no, why don't you join the show? And that's how I joined the show.
It's crazy that you mentioned impact.
Yeah.
Because for me, bro, I've told this story so many times on the podcast. I used to fight with my mother when she was driving me to school.
Yeah.
Because she'd want to listen to Jeremy Mansfield.
Oh, flip, yes.
In the morning.
Yes.
And then you were on at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, fuck Jeremy, man. We got to listen to Fresh. Tato to tato.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I ended up converting her. She's like, actually, this show's dope.
Yeah. You know, that show, I think, even that show had impact I don't think we fully appreciated.
Sure.
The fact that people still talk about it right now, for me, just fucking blows my mind. That we were just guys having fun on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even Tato was there by chance. I was at a Shell garage by Rhema Church, and I was pouring juice. I go into the shop, and then Tato is there. He's like, I listen to the show. He gives me a piece of paper with feature ideas for my show.
Wow.
And his phone number.
What was he doing before the show?
I have no idea.
Nah.
He was a youngster. I'm sure he was straight out of school. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I called him. I was like, no, man, come sit in and let's see what happens. So I started just introducing him gently. And then this is 2002.
Yeah.
Leave for Miami, March. In Miami, we're drunk. Going from one gig to another. Shane calls. It's like, yo, bro, we want you on breakfast.
Sure.
I'm like, when? He's like, on the 1st. I'm like, that's next week. He's like, yeah. So I must fucking put a team together.
Yeah.
So one of my conditions was, as long as Tato was on the team. But Greg and Shane had a problem with it. But my relationship with Greg and Shane was such that if we don't agree with you, convince us.
Wow.
So we went on air and we showed them that actually you can't fuck with us.
Works.
You know what I mean? But also they wanted a girl on there, so Angie was also put on. And generally, I would prefer myself and Tato only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But eventually, it evolved towards that. So yeah. So I had, 4 days to put a breakfast show together.
And you guys fucking kicked it. The chemistry was insane. Is it true that there was a car brand that wanted to sponsor you, but you were like, you got to sponsor the whole team. Everybody must get a car.
No, man. I think Mazda were one of
and then he says the name.
No, let me just say, Mazda looked after us.
Yeah.
They looked after us. So thank you so much, guys. It was a great relationship. So yeah, man.
So you told them you got to have a car for the
Well, I didn't tell them that, but kind of said, we're a team.
Yeah.
And
Proverb, how do you find Proverb?
So Adil says to me, so Cleo had just left after issues with management, and we needed a show producer.
Yeah.
And Adil, AD at large, says, there's a kid from Kimberley who's been studying sound engineering. Please give him a shot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. The following week, have you thought about it? I was like, thought about what? And I told you there's a kid from Kimberley, give him a shot. And that's how we started with Pro.
Yeah.
And Pro will tell you, I'm a slave driver.
Yeah.
I expect you to deliver.
Yeah, he told me you'd call him at 3 a.m. In
fact, I don't think I'm a slave driver, but if there's work to be done, I expect it to be done. You know what I mean? And if we want to be the best at what we do, we all have to show up. So initially, he was kind of chilled, pants sagging and Kimrepa is too cool for school. But his work ethic just... we'd get a studio, Pro is there, he's doing promos, he's doing this. And I think half the success of the show, I'd like to think, was actually his production, pre-production, and just the shit he did. Yeah.
And you were paying him from your own pocket, no?
Again, it was a case of, we're not too sure. I said to Greg, I'll pay him then. Because I believe if you believe in something that much, sometimes take the knock yourself and show them so that by the time they see, then they can see that maybe we must pay him. So initially I was paying Tato and Proverb out of my pocket.
No way.
So there was no technical producer before Proverb?
No, there was Cleo.
So why were you then paying Proverb out of your pocket?
Because
they didn't believe in it.
They wanted to get other people who were doing other shows. So I was like, no, like we want our own producer.
Bro, one thing I liked, and I still like about you, is that whoever you work with always becomes like a superstar. Like you've touched so many careers. I mean, you can look at DJ Cleo, Proverb, Kent, Euphonic, Bobby Malloy. There's so many,
No,
bro.
I never worked with Bobby.
Yeah.
Don't put my boy.
Bobby took over from me when I left Y.
Yeah.
No, let me tell you something. My attitude is, if you don't want to be bigger than the opportunity I afford you, then I don't want to work with you. Because then that means you are just chilling. You know what I mean? You must want to be bigger than me. You must want to grow and leave the nest, as it were.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I get to grow myself also. You see, people don't realize the strategy behind always working with young minds. And that's why maybe people often are too lazy to mentor people. Half the time you're learning from the person you're teaching, because they're young, they've got ideas,
fresh,
they're hungry. You know what I mean? But if I'm going to surround myself with just people I know and no fresh people from outside, how am I growing? So I'm in this industry for as long as I have been, because I'm not afraid to share the limelight with other people. Also because I'm not scared of them. You know what I mean?
You want them to succeed.
I want them to succeed because I also know what I bring to the party that they can't bring to the party.
Yeah. Was there anyone at Y you were scared of, like a DJ where you're like, hey, this one's coming with fire?
It's rocking too much. I must not be absent.
Honestly, not really. No, listen to me. Not really, because I know what I bring to the party, like I said.
Yeah.
And I know my strong points, and often I'd know their weak points that might actually work against them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for instance, my favorites at Y, before Kabzela joined us, were Chili M and Fat Joe.
Wow.
But I knew that Fat Joe is a renegade. He's not gonna last here. At some stage, no, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
At some stage, you'll have a fallout with management. Something will happen. Because Fat Joe is a renegade.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in his career. That at some stage there's a fallout. And also I knew that Chili M was also caught up in the scene. So that will work against him. You know what I mean? So that's why I was never really scared or worried that my position is in danger. Nix.
Shit,
so yeah.
Wow, that's insane, bro. How did the chair come about? Because I feel like that's the original podcast and chill.
You know what? I wanted to do a personality interview, but we didn't want to do just a run of the mill. I wanted to do something that even the guests might be scared to come and join us because they don't know what might be asked. Because you reached a point where some people refuse to. Come on.
We get that a lot.
I can show you the WhatsApps.
I've had about 5 people ask me for advice about, MacG has invited us. Do you think we should go? No names mentioned.
Come on, mention the no names.
No, but all I've ever said was, if you know your truth, then go.
Yeah. We always say that. We talk to you. If you've got shit you're hiding.
If you know your truth, just go. And
That's it.
And if you die, you die. It's fine.
Which was one of your favorite interviews? Because you did a lot, man. But there's got to be some standout ones.
I did a ton. I think Brenda Fassie was epic.
Yes.
Yeah, Brenda Fassie was really epic. Mandoza was epic. Lebo Matosa was epic. TK was epic. Hebana.
These are fallen soldiers, man.
Hey, what if I killed them? What if it's my fault? No, man. I'm actually glad that I was part of documenting that journey. But yeah, who else?
You still got those interviews, ne?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm a strong advocate for document everything. And generally, especially Bodaki. We don't document enough of our shit, guys. Like, we don't document enough of our shit, like, at all. And, one day you're going to be telling your kids, no, me, I used to be this guy, but you can't even show them.
You can't.
Let alone what more you can do with that archive. For instance, just Billboard. If you want to find out what is the #1 song on the 15th of January 1968, just Google that. Billboard will say, oh, here it is.
There it is,
We can't even do that. Which South African hit was #1 in 1989?
We don't know.
We can't even fucking do that. Because we don't document our shit. And we need to start documenting.
Before 5FM comes calling, which other stations offered you contracts?
Actually, 5 were the first to offer the contract.
Okay.
And it was purely because Wifey was working at SAFM, and I was going to see her at the studio upstairs. And then Ernest Pillay was walking into 2000, but I knew he was part of management. As I was passing by 5, Gareth was doing the afternoon drive show. So I was chatting to Gareth at the door. Ernest Pillay arrives, and I'm like, yo, I think I'm ready. And we laugh about it. And I was ready, but also bantering. I go upstairs to SAFM, and then I leave. A week later, Ernest says, when can we meet? I'm like, meet about what now? It's like, you said you want to join us, miss. It's like, oh, fuck, it's happening. In all honesty. Again, be careful what you ask for, because you'll get it. So we had quite a few clandestine meetings in Melville, like obscure coffee shops. But because, fucking bastards, my Y contract went until June, July. It meant even if I joined them, I must wait until June, July.
Yes, I remember you were off air for like 2 months.
3 months.
3 months.
But because, in fact, I remember I had gigs in London. So just before I left, I called, I think it was Leslie. I don't know if it was a Sunday World or Sunday Times. And I told them that I've decided I'm joining 5. And I got on the plane, I switched off my phone. I wasn't roaming, I was in London until Monday or Tuesday. But when I came back, the dust had kind of settled. that I was leaving. And then it happened. But because obviously now there's an announcement I am going to 5, why can't keep me on? But I'm contracted to them until July. So they're like, we want to put you on garden leave. We don't want to let you go. You're still ours, but we'll pay you. So I literally spent 3 months earning a salary and not having a routine.
Yeah.
But I was so bored, I even went to Dubai for a radio conference. I spent a week in Dubai in that period at a radio conference because I had time to spare. I went to Greece for 10 days. I did like a Greece tour.
It's of life.
Did Athens, did Corfu Island. But every single night of those 3 months, I had a nightmare about fucking up at 5.
Ooh.
I'll tell you why, because there were so many naysayers. In fact, I think the only social media we had at the time was probably articles in newspapers.
Yes.
So Biz Community did an article that I'm leaving Y to go to 5. And I think 90% of it was white folk who were not happy about it.
Yes.
And in fact, I never even read any of it, but I knew it was there.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably one of the biggest threads of any article of that year. And so because of that, and that people who were saying, are you sure? Are you sure?
Because it was perceived to be white at the time.
Exactly. Even black guys in our industry, some of them were like, are you sure?
Yo, Skidder said you're a sellout.
So you start saying to yourself, fuck, am I sure?
Yeah.
So literally every night I'd have a nightmare. For 3 months non-stop, nigga.
That's crazy, bro.
I was expecting you to take Tato with. What happened? Like,
I had a conversation with Tato about it. He was obviously growing in that market. So he was more keen to stay there.
And he was doing his own shows on the weekend.
He was keen to stay there. You see. And then I had a word with Dino, Kent, and Euphonic. And they're like, dude, where you go, we go.
Wow.
But they only told me 3 years in that we're not going to lie, we were so scared.
I think even Tato was, but they were ready to take the jump, the plunge.
No, because I told them, guys, trust me, I know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? And as much as it was a challenge in terms of people's perceptions, again, if you know what you're capable of, why do you fear? You know what I mean? And I know what I can deliver. I know what I'm capable of. And I know that I will stand toe-to-toe with any of the DJs and deliver a show. So why should I even be scared?
I was so pissed off you left because I joined Y the year after.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, where's Fresh, guys? That's why I'm here. You know what I mean?
And then you join the other guys like, anyway, where's the coke?
and you killed it, bro. You killed it, bro.
Let me tell you one thing, though. And I insist on telling the story because people don't understand just how colonialism and apartheid fucked
with our
black
psyche,
minds. So, for instance, I went to school with white kids from creche. You know what I mean? This is the late 70s. I was in school with white kids. So I've always been exposed to white kids. I've always known that the only difference between us is melanin.
Yes.
But when you go into an environment that is perceived as that's a white radio station, there's a voice at the back of your mind that almost says to you, but are you worthy of being in that space? And people don't understand how fucked it is that even when you know your worth, you sometimes feel like an imposter in certain spaces in this country, and it shouldn't be like that.
You felt like an imposter, bro?
I felt like I'm an imposter.
You love.
Despite all I know, one, about myself, and the fact that I can deliver here. Because, like I said, the perception is this a white station.
Yeah.
And you are literally the only black guy on prime time. You know what I mean?
Which is unheard of.
Was it internally the staff or the listeners?
It was more listeners. Wow. In fact, if it's fuck. On my old laptop, I've got all the hate mail I got when I was at 5.
Wow.
So I literally had a folder of all the hate mail. There's about 1,500 of them.
You're kidding me?
Yeah.
And you kept going?
No, I was like, fuck them, I'm here to work.
Sure.
But as the years rolled on, some would mail and say, I'm actually sorry, because I prejudged you. You know, I thought you were affirmative action this, I thought it was BEE. I was like, but again, show people what you bring and people will be convinced.
What's management saying at the time? Are they like, yo, who's...
No, they had my back. No, they had my back because they knew what I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And content-wise, because I struggled when I was at Highveld. When I came up with content, all right, this is maybe too black. It's too black. Let me tone it down.
one thing about me is I do content that interests me. So if you like it, then we're on the same boat. Those that don't get you eventually fall away, and those that get you stay for life.
Isn't that a bit narcissistic though?
It's not even that. It's, I know my audience. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give you what I think you ought to know right now. Because we're supposed to set the pace eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're tastemakers.
Yeah.
So my brand of radio doesn't change regardless of the radio station I go to.
Yeah. Oh, so you are the product.
It's called personality radio for a reason. You know what I mean? People are tuning in because
your personality.
It's MacG. If this podcast was done by another guy in Sipo and Sol, it might not be the same.
100%.
Because you are the personality. Sol is the personality. People tune in for that.
It's like DJ, you play what you personally like, right? Not what you think they will like.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and you hope they like.
Oh shit, I'm a jukebox, man. I play for the people. You put in money, I'll play anything. Is it true? Did you start like mixing? Mixing, you know, like every show has a mix DJ now. You started it, right?
Yeah, when I started the Easy Drive, we had the Mad Half Hour. So literally the first 30 minutes of the show was a mix. Then all of a sudden other
So before that there was unheard
It
of.
was only on weekends that you'd hear it.
Sure.
Then all of a sudden Metro are doing it, the African language stations are doing it, and now it's a fucking mess.
And who came out of Mad House Hour?
Mad Half Hour, who didn't?
Yeah.
My first ever guest was Iggy Smalls, Monde was there, Cleo was there,
Wow.
DJ's Boo was there.
Wow.
Who else? There's a ton of kids who became household names because of YFM.
Yes.
And because of that feature.
Yeah. Even songs. You guys used to break songs, man.
Yeah.
So Penduka, how did you end up working with him?
I saw him playing with himself on Big Brother.
Don't push that narrative, man. I never played with my. I was washing my dick. A clean penis is a happy penis, and I was washing my dick. People said I was playing with it.
You know what they say when you're taking a wee? Yeah. 2 shakes. The third shake is a wank. You were doing that for a bit too long. So I was like, this kid needs someone to work with. Yeah. No. So Saul used to work with More Flavor.
Yeah.
And I was a fucking fan.
Wow.
And then he leaves the Big Brother house, and he's not on the radio.
Yeah.
I was like, where the fuck is this kid? So I get in touch with Saul. I was like, yo, dude, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
You know, why don't you come over to the light side?
Yeah.
And he did.
Wow.
You know?
Do you still remember that song?
I remember the call out very well.
This is Fresh calling you. You like, this is a prank, dog.
No, the thing is, Fresh would comment. I think he had Mo's number or he had the station number. And he would always comment during our show. So we knew he's a listener.
No, I'm a radio fan.
Okay.
If I like your show, I will call in, I will comment, I will SMS, everything, dude.
You never SMS'd me.
I'm that guy. Eh?
You never SMS'd me.
Where? What time were you on? No, I'm asking.
But you enjoyed your time.
What time were you on?
I was on at night. Mara, you did. I remember.
Have you ever laughed so hard you sweat? Fuck.
Man, I do remember when I was doing weekends when I just started. I was doing a show after Mpuma Boy, and you were talking to her, and then you're like, "Yo, pass the phone to Mac," and you're like, "Yo, you're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing."
Dude, I was a fan of yours because my daughter obviously watched Kiddies TV.
Yeah,
I was a fan of yours when you were fucking doing Kiddies TV.
Crazy.
Dude. No, for real.
Yeah,
I was your fucking fan then.
Wow.
You know.
Alright, Metro. When does Metro come calling?
I think Miami is bad luck for me.
You're in Miami?
In Miami. I'm in Miami.
Hey, we gotta go to Miami, dog.
Hey, man, we don't want the bad luck.
We're in Miami. There's a bunch of us. Black Coffee, Euphonic, Fistas, Glenn Lewis. So Glenn doesn't say he's left Metro. We've been together for a week.
Yeah.
Glenn is just quiet. In fact, at the time, Touch was starting Touch Central.
Yeah.
And Touch had offered me a contract to do breakfast.
At Touch Central?
Yeah.
How much offered to pay you? How much was it offering?
I mean, hold on. So Touch had wanted me to leave 5 to start at Touch Central. It was tempting, but I hesitated.
Yeah.
And eventually we're like, no, it's not going to work. So then he calls Glenn when Glenn took that contract that he'd offered me. So it meant Metro now are Glenless. So I land from Miami on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Sibongile calls me on the Thursday. He's like, we need you at Metro. Wow. I'm like, but I've got a show. She's like,
and you're nice, dog. You're not leaving anytime soon there at 5.
In fact, I regret why I left the afternoon show at 5, because I think we could have done another 5 years.
Yeah.
We could have easily done.
Yeah.
In fact, the drive show at 5, I believe, is some of the best radio I've ever done. Because we were doing good old-fashioned radio.
Yeah.
We're doing skits. You know that for 10 years, we did a minimum of 1 to 2 skits every fucking day. Every fucking day. We'd sit, prep, record.
That's a production.
Always making content. Wow. You know what I mean? And I believe that's what radio misses right now. Everyone is regurgitating the same old content.
Yeah. And voice notes and... You know.
Exactly. People are not creating content anymore. Anyway, so I was like, what do you mean? She's like, no, I've spoken, management will speak to them at 5. Well, no, don't worry. I was like, fuck, so this thing is... So I'm like, so when would you want me to start? She's like, on Monday. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, okay. So when do I say goodbye to my listeners at 5? They're like, no, we'll interview you on one of the other shows. I couldn't even say goodbye to my listeners.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we have to call all the clients and tell them that you're gone. But yeah, you can. So I did an interview in the afternoon just to say goodbye. Then that weekend, we met to create a show, and on Monday we were on air, dog.
Shit, and did you have any terms? Because I know whenever you go to a new space, you always like to keep the same team.
Yeah, same.
Or have the ability to choose your team.
Generally, as long as Kent, Euphonic, and Dino are there, the rest, I can make a plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they've been part of my career for... Dino since 2002-3.
Wow.
So yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then the rest, because Saudi had everyone on 3-year contracts, they couldn't bring in any other people. So I had to work with everyone that was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
So how did you feel after you've had a kick-ass year on Breakfast, and then they dismantle your team?
Because you made it work with Somizi and those guys.
You know what? I think the team worked. I think we fucking made great radio. I think it was short-sighted of them to then dismantle the team. But to tell you the honest truth, a part of me also suspects they'd wanted to get rid of him, Paul. For whatever reason, I have no fucking idea.
Shit, man.
No, I'll tell you why. So we did a Christmas party for our listeners, and we found a venue at Zoo Lake. And it's going to be a free event for all of our listeners, basically, on Breakfast. And after we do the party, we're summoned and told we shouldn't have used the airtime to invite people. It's SABC. And that I get. But, for instance, Offense was given a letter and told... he's being suspended or something.
Technical producer.
Because on the day of the party, I was in Cape Town, so I didn't do the show. So it was MacG who did the show. Offense gave him the prep, obviously. But Mposo got a letter that says, provide a reason why you shouldn't be fired.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Shame.
So I was like, but Mposo's not even a part of this.
That's horrible.
That's when I realized that something is amiss here. So even when the team was dismantled, it didn't make sense that why
is this happening?
This shit is working. You know what I mean? And then to find out that the last Friday of that lineup was when Mpo was told her contract has not been renewed. But it's like, what kind of people are you that treat people like that?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, radio has become like that.
You fucking
where you are expendable, and for a lot of people, even by February, you don't know if you're going to have a new contract in April.
Yeah.
Like, how do you treat people like that?
Yeah.
Surely before my contract expires, 6 months even.
Way before.
Let me know so I know to tell my bank I might not have money to pay for my house.
And to look for a gig.
To look for a gig.
Yeah.
Now you're going to give me a month to look for a gig. Dude, there were days where we'd be in the middle of March and we still haven't renewed contracts for April.
But you had like 5-year contracts. We had 1-year contracts.
No, we didn't have 5-year contracts. No, but my contracts were decent. But for me, it's not even about me.
Oh, about everybody else. Yeah.
I believe if you treat everyone else like shit, you can treat me like shit.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always been for.
It's a dipstick.
The smaller guy.
Yeah.
That. Like I'm saying, what one day it'll be me. So unfortunately, I think radio management need to do better. We understand it's fixed term contracts, but give people time to warn bank managers, the school that I might not be able to pay fees.
Is it radio management as a whole or just SABC?
I think generally radio management, I feel, tend to do that.
So you had a question?
Nah, but like now when you leave, it was obviously the Msuneri thing. Do you regret saying Msuneri? Because to me, it sounds like there was an issue, a stalemate of some sort behind the scenes, and Msuneri was just a trigger.
I think I was fired more for refusing to apologize than I was fired for using the word. So for instance, had I apologized, then everything would have been okay.
So they were not out to get you because of...
We'll never know. Because unfortunately, our people sometimes when they manage are very personal. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, the poor thing, for instance, I feel that there was something personal happening there. I don't know what it is, but I think there's something personal happening there. Anyway, so some guy tweets out of his ass, and I addressed it on air, and I said it's Msuneri, and or what kind of Msuneri is that? I don't remember.
That shit is funny.
and then I'm taken off air.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Take me off air. Do what you need to do to investigate whatever you're investigating. But I don't think if this goes to BCCSA, it's gonna hold up.
Yeah.
And you can go to the BCCSA right now. It's not found guilty of anything. Anyway, so I'm off air. Then we have a meeting, and I say to them, guys, so what's going on? Because, the natives are restless. Because every day we're trending, bring fresh back or this or that or whatever. So they're like, no, we want to need you to apologize and this. So I've been on air for, I think, a month at that stage. So already there's punishment that I'm off air for a month. My pay for that month is docked.
Sure.
That's the second punishment. So now I must apologize.
And so it's a lot of pay.
No. So I said, no, fuck, dude, I was paid a lot. Now it's gone. Like, fuck, nigga. So as a matter of principle, I felt like I've been punished twice already. You've taken me off air. I mean, radio is my oxygen. You've taken me off air. Already you've punished me. You haven't paid me for that period. That's more punishment. Now you're going to force me to apologize rather than keep your job. You know what I mean? So that's what happened.
What are you apologizing for?
For using the word.
You kidding me, man?
That I must go on radio and apologize. And also, at that stage, even if apologizing was an option, I felt our relationship had broken down.
Yeah.
So I would not want to go back into that environment.
They already dismantled your team.
Exactly.
Now you had a new team. Did you have a say on who? Because I remember Relebohile came through.
You know what? I liked Relebohile and I was fine working with her.
But did you choose her?
No. They wanted to recommend other people. I was like, no, I'd rather work Relebohile.
So you had no choice?
No, I had a choice. It was other people that I did not want to work with, that I can't name because
you can.
Must protect the innocent sometimes.
Okay.
And so I called her. I was like, listen, dude, do you want to come and gig? And she wanted to gig, and we gigged. And the weird thing is, she'd used the same word 2 days prior.
You kidding?
For real?
We asked Tibo Touch the same question. Do you think there's some fuckery or msunery happening with the management? Because, under the current management, you were let go, DJ Spoo, Tibo Touch, Robert Marawa, Fat Joe, Pearl Tusi, Pearl Mudiadi, I can go on and on. Under the same management, right?
You know...
Clearly all those people can't be at fault.
I think one of the big problems in that building is because when there's a position, it's first opened up to, it's internal first. So if we need a manager, someone to manage ICE, it's opened up to SABC employees first. So it's almost unheard of that new talent would come into the building. So you find that you are recycling staff, and some of them are not necessarily fit for purpose or fit for that job.
They're just not good enough.
So you might find that you're now recycling someone who's mediocre, just moving them from one place to another. And you can't run a broadcaster like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that cause that building to limp along, I believe personally, that there's not enough new blood in there.
Would you go back if they hit you up?
No.
Do you think they successfully replaced your breakfast show? How do you feel about the show that took over?
Let me tell you about me. I don't think you can replace me.
Drop that thing of yours. Drop that thing.
You can find someone to do the show after me, after I'm gone, but you can't replace me. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you why. I need to pick my words very carefully. Listen very carefully.
Oh my goodness.
I think the mistake YFM made, Metro FM made, 947 made, is as soon as I was gone, the next show almost felt like those people were sitting in for me. Because it wasn't a completely new show. Remember when Babi, in fact, I recommended Babi to them.
Yes.
That Babi is flipping hot talent. Why don't you get her to come do breakfast?
I remember you even said it on TV. There was an interview you did, and you're like, Babi.
But I then pulled her to the side, and I was like, Babi, if you're going to agree to do breakfast, the condition should be that you assemble a whole new team. Otherwise, it's going to seem like you're sitting in for me. What did it sound like? Like she's sitting in for me. I said the same thing to Mo Flavor when there was all this drama.
Who's that?
Your former friend. Is your former friend.
Did the Rock the Girl condom break? And then he didn't tell you.
There was no flavor.
No, back then the condoms weren't flavored.
He didn't tell you it's broke, and you're like, what does it feel nice all of a sudden? I remember me and Mo speak a lot, and we spoke with Mo, and I'm like, dude, they're gonna try and force you to do breakfast, but I don't think you're done on afternoons. You have at least another 5 years on afternoons. He was fucking kicking ass on afternoons.
Great show.
You know what I mean? I mean, I was fucking hooked to that show. I listened every afternoon. And then he goes and does the show. But then I suspect he was forced to keep some of the features that we had.
What?
Which then means what? The show sounds like he's sitting in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, especially with drive shows, it's almost like a poison chalice when it's handed over to you. That's why you need a whole new fucking chalice and a whole new drink. You can't take the same poison chalice and think you're gonna now put a fresher wine in it when the chalice is poisoned. You know what I mean? So I suspect that's what happened, that he was forced to keep features that work. Even now with Tandwe 947, there are features that I left there. In fact, I call it legacy programming. You must do features so shit hot. When you're not there, they can't get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Ask a man.
You see, Ask a Man, Ultimix at 6, at 5, went for Cheese of the Day, went for a while. The mix at 20 to 8 at Metro right now. It's like I'm saying, that's how you should do your programming. Kick so much ass that people know that normal, but this feature
Yeah, I get in mind, yeah.
You know what I mean? So So it's for that reason it's difficult for me to listen because I'm a Mo Flavor fan. I mean, when he was go why, that's all I listen to. Him, Likutso, him, and you. That's all I listen to. But because I almost feel like I'm listening to my own show, just rejigged. It's not. And no offense to Mo, I just think they gave him a fucked up deal and forced him to do a show he shouldn't be doing.
They were putting him a wet in the chalice. They were putting him a wetty.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Listen, when I laugh hard, I sweat. Stop it. Fuck, man.
So when does Highfield come calling? Because I know Ravi had been wanting you for years, bro.
Ravi called me probably every year for 9 years.
Yeah.
When I was at SABC.
True story, dog.
Yeah.
Every year for 9 years. I even met 2 different CEOs at the time. At some stage I was offered, come do 947, you can also do 702.
Yes.
But I wasn't ready. But when I realized that, okay, the water is becoming muddy here, maybe it's time to take on Ravi's offer. So they did.
Because I thought when you got fired, I thought, fuck, I never thought you'd get fired, hey, bro. I never thought. Like this jokes.
You think it's only you, Fedro and Chiliem, who get fired? I had FOMO. I was like, I want to see how this shit feels.
So when you left Metro, I'm thinking, he's going to Kaya because Greg is there, and that's your homeboy. I'm like, no, he's gonna go to Kaya. So when you went to 947, I was like, okay.
Honestly, they were both bidding at the same time.
Wow.
And it felt bad, eh? Remember, there was a time Greg called me for, I think him and the marketing team and the sales team were having drinks and a lunch at Marble, and they invited me over, and they gave me an offer, like sign. I was like, fuck. So I told Greg, can I sleep on it? As I'm walking to my car, Ravi calls, can you meet us tomorrow at Saint? I was like, fuck. And Saint and Marble are owned by the same guy. It's like, I hope he doesn't snitch on me and say to Greg, but this guy was here. So I had a meeting with the CEO and Ravi at Saint the next day. Now I've got these fucking 2 contracts. I'm like, fuck, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I figured I'd rather retire at Kaya than do Kaya in the 947. You know what I mean? For me, it was about which journey would make more sense. So that's the journey I took. So
when you went there, bro, I'm like, this guy's going to be on radio for another 10 years. Because I saw you doing Drive for maybe 5. And then you take over Anele for another 5. And then you can even do 702 Drive and breakfast.
In fact, my contract was such that, for instance, I did a Sunday show on KFM.
Yes. Simulcast.
Yes, in fact, yeah. And then the plan was to now then introduce me to Saturday nights on 702.
Oh!
That was actually the plan within a year or 2.
You're going to be working 7 days?
Well, it'll be a dance show now, like pre-recorded if we need to.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, because that would have given you another 10 years. And then you can still go to Kaya like you
said. Absolutely. So yeah, man.
So what went wrong there? What do you think went wrong?
What went wrong? How?
At Highfield. Why did they let you go?
Okay, so, geez, where do I even start with this? So last year, when was Uyinene murdered? It was 2019, 2020?
Pumla? 2020, ne? Can someone Google that? We've got Wi-Fi.
No, it wasn't 2020 because 2020 was lockdown. No, it was August-ish 2019.
2019, okay.
Yeah, it was August-ish 2019.
Yeah.
And remember then the Me Too movement started?
Yes.
And then people started tweeting, dropping names. So some woman then tweets...
The rape list?
Yes. Then some woman tweets euphonic and says something like, how do you feel about drugging young girls and raping them? So Temba ignored it. Some weeks later, She tweets again. Now I'm added to it. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I called Temba. I was like, do you know this person? Temba was like, I don't fucking know who it is, but let's ignore her. So we, carry on with our lives. And then last year, it starts again. The thing is, there's a timeline, so I feel like I'm skipping stuff. So can I get to the stuff I'm skipping first?
100%. 100%.
Okay, so after that list happened, and we obviously, I did my statement to say it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That never happened. Life carried on.
And you're still on air at the time?
No, I'm still on air. I've discussed it with management, and, life has carried on. And then some girl decides to post it on Facebook. And then some poet girl whose name I shan't waste my energy on decides to post it on her Twitter. So I'm like, what's going on here? So my lawyers, send her a letter to say, please remove your post. And in her arrogance, she literally refused. So we're like, okay, we're going to give you one last chance to remove it. Otherwise, we're going to have to go legal. Because if you remove it now, it's finished. But if you don't remove it now, we're going to have to go legal. But if we go legal with costs. So the arrogance continued. In fact, after that, then the ANC Women's League were pulled in.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. And now I see a letter that says, trying to silence people.
Yes.
I'm like, but nobody's trying to silence anyone here. All we're saying is don't post shit that is unsubstantiated and then say that's you being an activist. You know what I mean? If I turn around and say, I saw Saul committing bestiality the other day, I'm going to just post it with no substantiation, nothing. Anyway, so the arrogance carried on, so it went to court and she lost. With costs. Then the costs were almost 200 grand.
Jeez.
And it didn't have to go there. This thing could have ended immediately. And I remember at the time the judge was like, we're actually not against people being activists. But with activism comes great responsibility. You can't just post shit.
Fact check.
If you can't fact check, then leave it. You know what I mean? In fact, the weirdest thing is I'm actually one of her biggest fans.
Is it?
No, I love the fact that she's bold like that.
Yeah.
But don't be bold for the sake of it. When you can either check if something happened or not. If you don't have the facts, then leave it alone. It's that simple. Anyway, so it finishes, it happens, and then it passes. Fast forward January 2021. So I can't remember what I tweeted, and one of my followers commented on it, and then said poet inboxes my follower and says, you're here busy celebrating someone, but his victim is busy going for counseling.
Yeah.
So I ignored it. Mind you, we're due in court again for the finalization. We're due in court.
With the victim?
No, with the poet.
Okay.
So isn't it, I won the case. So basically in that court case, she must never ever fucking talk about me or post anything about me. Yeah.
Okay.
So February the 2nd, we're supposed to finalize it now. And obviously they are going to appeal. Anyway, so I just want to show you why I think some of this shit was actually orchestrated. So middle of January, this woman from 2019 resurfaces, tweeting at myself and Temba. So I called Temba, I was like, my man, are you sure you don't know this person? Temba's like, nah, fuck all. But anyway, we ignored it and we just let it go. And then, obviously, then it starts gathering momentum. And then, so we speak to management and we said to management, listen, this is what's happening, but this is the situation.
Yeah.
And again, we let it go. We carry on with our lives. In fact, at the time, I'm busy flipping COVID-19ing. So I had COVID, I think, from about the 1st of Jan.
Yeah.
Until about the 15th. But mine was light, like yours.
Yeah.
But also your vendor, nothing can bend you. So. My man, vendor hooks are tough, though. No, you guys are tough. Yeah. You guys are like buckies, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm noticing this commotion, and in my mind I'm like, what are the chances this commotion is linked or not linked to the 2nd of February? Then I let it go. And then this woman goes and opens up a case against us. So then I called Temba on a Friday night. I'm like, my man, I think let's actually call the station and tell them we want to stop all activities.
Shit is hitting the fan now.
It's not even about shit is hitting the fan, but we'd rather deal with this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You could foresee what's coming.
Undistracted. So we call...
so they hadn't spoken to you before that?
No, we'd spoken. We'd spoken and we said we'll monitor it.
All right, cool.
So that Friday night, myself and Temba are on a call with our station manager. And we tell her that, listen, we think we're going to pull back from everything that we're doing so we can deal with this thing. How? Saturday morning, after we agree on a statement, the station released a statement acting like they're the heroes here. That they've decided that they're going to pull us off air for now.
Oh.
Which wasn't discussed.
I was like...
No, they said they want to go off
No,
air.
we said we are going to do it because we want to deal with this. Now they want to be the heroes and say they've decided in the interest of what, that we're going to pull you off air for now.
But do you blame them? They were under a lot of scrutiny at that time.
No, but don't lie.
Just say the guys came to us the one time
and
to
we
focus on this
agree we're going to let them do what they need to do.
Okay.
Anyway, so obviously now there's the storm that's happening and we're dealing with that storm.
Yeah.
After about 4 weeks, we're like, no man, but fuck this shit. Until we're guilty of something, we're guilty of nothing. So why should we pull back from all the shit we're doing? So I call our station manager.
So it wasn't just your radio gig, like all the other stuff you were working
we
with?
decided we want to pull back from everything. So we can focus on, all public appearances, everything. So I call our station manager. I think I was driving to Eastgate. I was like, we've decided that we want to actually go back on the radio.
Yeah.
Because like, why are we off radio? Like even
so there was no time frame. It wasn't like, okay, let's wait 2
No,
weeks,
it was
2 weeks.
let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
But we'll pay you guys in the interim.
Phew.
So we're like, but if it's just in terms of like labor law, like why are we not on the radio? So we'd like to
go back.
Yeah, we'd like our shows back. And I don't know if they script when we said that, because obviously they're also under pressure. How next thing we get an email, I think it was the next day or the day after, saying after much consideration, we've decided that we're going to terminate the contract. We'll pay you out for the duration of the contract, but you guys won't be on the radio.
How long was the contract?
Until end of July.
Oh, so it was just a 1 year contract?
No, it was 18 months.
18 months, okay, cool.
So like, are they panicking that we said we don't understand from a labor relations perspective why we're off radio, what's going on? Or are they under pressure? So we decided that, and in fact, they sent us an email telling us what they want to do, but they also sent us an email with a statement that they want to put out there. That's why then we put out our own statement before they did theirs. You know what I mean? Because we could see that these guys are actually trying to fuck us. You know, so we put out our own statement that we wanted to go back on air. Then all of a sudden now they're saying, this thing's not working, you guys must bounce. So in a nutshell, that's what happened.
Do you think they threw you under the bus?
Let me tell you why I think they threw us under the bus. I think, in fact, the only reason I miss management at Metro, when there was all that Musuneri happening, I remember in our meeting with management, I said to them, you know, we're trending every day, people saying put these guys back on the radio. And I remember one of my managers saying, we are the managers here, not social media.
Oh, beautiful.
You know what I mean? And eventually, when all is said and done and has gone through the wash, you actually realize that social media is not necessarily a microcosm of the society we live in. You know what I mean? And it's then that I understood why my managers at Metro said, we are the managers here, not social media. You know what I mean? We have processes, we will decide. what happens, not social media. So I think they bow down to pressure from social media, and then there's a women's group that have been at it for the longest time, and I think they bow down to that.
But don't you think?
But on top of that, for instance, when you look at the statement the CEO put out when our contracts are terminated, all of a sudden he's using language like, again, they want to be the heroes. All of a sudden he's using language like, we respect something about the victim. And I'm like, but this person has accused us of something. We have told you that this thing never happened, but now you're calling her a victim, which means you've actually taken a side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, it became clear where he stood as a CEO.
In the boardroom, though, what was their tone? Because clearly it was different.
No, we
from
never met
the
in the boardroom, because I mean, it was the time of Zooms and whatever. So we never actually met.
But did they act like they were supporting you behind the scenes and then surprise you with this public statement?
I think so. I think it was all for show. And for me, it's unfortunate because if your employer can't protect you, how safe are the other employees then from anything similar happening?
What were the other employees saying? What was Anele saying?
Your colleagues.
Yo, dude, are you guys sitting down?
Yeah.
You know, when all of this madness was happening, only 3 people from 947 reached out. Only 3. The first person was Shannon. Shannon did traffic.
Yes, on your show, yeah. I know Shannon.
Shannon would, every week, how you doing? Are you okay? Are you fine?
Man.
And then there's Debbie from music department.
Wow.
And so shout out, Debbie. Love you, girl. And the only other person that got in touch was Palisa. Palisa ran the desk. Only 3 people.
But who are you expecting to?
No, you know what? I think when you're going through shit like that, you almost realize either how on your own you are, or the people who are genuinely for you. You know what I mean? And for me, it's actually not even a big deal. I actually don't give a fuck.
Anele didn't call.
But it's not like, we're not friends with Anele, so I don't expect her to call.
Anele, what about your whole team? Because only Shannon is from your team.
Nothing.
Mansui.
Nothing. Nothing.
Hey, but you did it.
Nothing, nigga.
But you did her dirty, man. Now she's got to do live reads at Star FM.
He didn't do it. He just got fired.
I did nothing wrong, dog.
Yeah. But even she.
You see, if I had committed a crime, then I'd done it dirty.
Yeah.